Hey, what's happening, everyone? It's GBall. Today we're taking a look at a new knife coming in from Kizer. This knife right here, when it first released, was insanely popular. I remember them selling completely out, and now it is back with a new locking system. We are taking a look at the Kizer Madrack with the button top liner lock. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome to GBall Vision. Drop a comment below. Let me know what your EDC is looking like today. So the Madrack, baby. It initially came out with a crossbar lock, and now it is sporting the forever loved button top liner lock. They did these in a bunch of different versions. These are going to range from about $70 all the way up to $190. It just depends on the version that you're looking at. They have some for $70, $75, $130, $170, and then some at $190. So lots of different price points for this knife. And if you're wondering, the $190 one is an S45VN. It has camo carbon, Brittany blue carbon fiber, and then you're looking at a polished DLC blade. So there's a reason why that one costs what it does. But this here, I think, is going to be one of the best values, this one and the $70 one, because you're going to be getting either Norplex Ultrex micarta, or you can get the micarta with vortex pattern, which I tend to like this one quite a bit. I'm a pretty big fan of these vortex micartas. There's a bunch of different color combinations and styles that Kizer has done. We'll take a look at a few of those here near the end of the video, but we are looking at $75 for this fella, 14C28N for the blade steel, and that is going to be a machine satin. Dual thumb studs for the deployment, a beautiful sheep's foot blade, and then that really nice vortex micarta over top of steel liners, and then a deep carry clip that is going to be left hand friendly. If you're not familiar with the Madrack, we'll get a look at the size here on it. It's actually pretty good size. We'll give it 7 5/8 overall, 3 1/8 of cutting edge, and we'll say 3 1/4 of total blade. And for some comparisons, we have the Concept Fenrir up top here and the CJRB Crag, which you could consider the Madrack a scaled down version of the Crag in a way, right? But the Crag, if you're familiar with it, is going to be a little bit bigger than the Madrack. And two more, we have the Kershaw Bonneville up top and the Kershaw Bel Air XL on the bottom. And the Bonneville is pretty close to the same length. We'll run this through a quick pocket check here. It is their standard deep carry clip. We got our 50 ways baked in GBall Vision Hank here, and not much will be poking out there. Maybe 1/8 of an inch. Looks good, looks clean. I do wish they would recess the pocket clip on both sides. I think that would be nice. I'm glad they did the tooling for lefty on the Madrack, but I think it'd be a nice touch to have it recessed and then put a filler tab on the show side, maybe with the blacked out look, or go with the orange. Either which one, I think that would look better, and you would still have the left and right hand option. Now it's time to get the arch nemesis out here and give the Madrack a little weight check. I like to play a game here on the channel with the new knives that come in. I attempt to guess the weight, and I always invite you to play along. You put your guess down in the comments, ounces or grams, whichever you prefer. Even if you already have a comment down there, go ahead and put your guess. And if you're enjoying this video, you like knives and gear, you're in the right place. Make sure you're subscribed here to the channel and ring that bell. I'm going to give this one a go, and I'm going to say that it's coming in high 3s. Feels like it could be a 3.7. 3.7. I'm going to go 3.7. 3.8. 3.8. Lock it in. 3.8. Oh! It felt like it was. 3.4 ounces and 96 grams. So that wasn't too bad. And it's just like Kizer to make this pretty light. This would have been really well suited at like a 4.2 ounces, I think. And, you know, they always heavily mill out them scales to the point where they're basically skeletonized. And, you know, if they left some of that in there, that all adds up. And I want to get away from the ultra lightweight theme. And making everything, you know, the Crag, for instance, that's a newer release, and they could have skeletonized the hell out of the liners on that, and they chose to just do a little bit, and it keeps some of its heft. And I think, you know, I think that's a good thing. Like I always say, I like to feel like I have a substantial tool in my hand. Is there a case and a place for a lightweight, ultra lightweight knife? Yes, there definitely is, but not everything has to be that way. You get what I mean? We'll grab the calipers out here, get a couple of measurements on the handle and blade. Start off with the handle, it's 0.5 and 12.8 millimeters, so a nice thickness, and we're looking at 2.76 millimeters on our blade stock and 108 thousandths. So actually a pretty thin blade stock for this type of knife and this size. Let's see what we're looking at for a BTE. And that is going to fall right there about 19 thousandths. So that's coming down thinner than average, typically 22 to 24 thousandths on average. So that's getting down there, starting to get fairly thin. Let's see how this one cuts out of the box. And we're going to use our standard catalog paper here. And this is going to be a sheep's foot blade is a great utility shape. So this is the type of knife this is the type of knife that I would typically keep with me along with a Tanto or drop point, clip point, something like that, just because these do a lot of things really well. You can climb up on that tip, and because of the low point, you can really get detail work done easily. Just a great shape for doing work. They put a splendid edge on this thing, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes, yes. Good stuff on that edge. Let's see what they did here with the hardware. Non-tooled pivot. I always say this, or usually always say it. I'd like to see Kaiser move away from putting Kaiser on the show side and just do the emblem on the pivot and remove it from the pocket clip. And then that keeps the pocket clip clean, keeps the show side of the blade clean, and you still have your emblem there. That's just my opinion, of course. Not a huge deal at the end of the day. Those are just personal preferences. T8 for our single body screw there. For the pocket clip, we are looking at T6. Wish they would do T8, but they are coated, and that looks pretty cool. T8 for the pivot. Make sure on all your new knives and knives that you carry on a weekly basis, all the hardware is tightened up. I always try to give a daily reminder to people out there. It's just a good practice to get into. You want your stuff top notch, and you don't want to be losing any screws or any hardware on a clip or a body screw. It can really mess up the function of the knife. And we are looking at a perfectly centered up blade. The detent feels really good. And just from feeling, I've been doing a lot of testing with a couple different Kaisers, trying to see if there's a feeling that's different when it comes to one of their button top liner locks that's passing and then one that is failing. And you can tell a slight difference in how it feels when it's locking up. Kind of hard to explain, but it doesn't feel on the ones that are failing like it's locking up as good. You don't feel like, you know how you can kind of just feel it lock up in your hand. You can feel the vibration in there. You can feel the liner moving over almost. And with those, you just don't get that. I don't know what it is. The last thing we have to do here is introduce the new Madrack to the spine whacker. And Kaiser has had an issue or two here with a few recent designs they have put out. And I don't think it's been widespread. I think it's just been a here and there type of issue, because in some cases, some of the knives are doing it, and in others, they are not. So it's not widespread issues, but there are still some issues that have been presented over the last couple of months. I fully look for Kaiser to take care of those issues and make all the ones that went out perfectly right with the customer, but I don't think it's an issue that is going to be consistently bad. You know what I mean? They're going to get it fixed. If not, I'm going to keep testing them, and it's going to keep going on camera. So, you know, with that, and that's why I do what I do, to make sure at least one example is getting checked, to make sure the lockup is going to do its job. The lock is going to do its job. That is the goal here. And we're not trying to see if we can hammer a nail into a tree with the spine of the blade. We just want to make sure that the lock is going to do its job. We'll start off with a light tap here, and I don't feel any movement in there. Light tap out towards the tip of the blade, and that's where we've gotten to fail from, is that very light tap out there towards the tip. So I'm going to give it another one, and this one sounds better. Sounds a lot better. I was able to fix the microbe, but then we had two fail after that. But Kaiser has assured me, and I think they've said some other various things to others as well, about getting the lockup taken care of. And I have seen the difference in like 1/1000th of a layer on top of the lock face or something like that, and that can cause a knife to fail, the lock to fail. So it's a difference in the machining that is very minuscule, but it makes a huge difference on if it's going to have that proper lockup. And this one sounds good. We didn't give her the double tap. Let me get a good open here. And yeah, this one sounds really good. Just like the last one we checked out. That one was real solid. So I think they are starting to get the kinks worked out. And I don't think, like I said, we're going to have any trouble moving forward. For anyone who has had an issue or does have an issue in the future, just reach out to Kaiser. They will take care of you. There is no question about it in my mind. Let me know what you think of the new Madrack here with the button top liner lock. I always look forward to hearing from you. I will have links to the Madrack over on their website, maybe to Amazon, and if I can find them anywhere else, because they tend to sell out in some versions and other websites might have them when others don't. So I'll have a couple of them down there. Do me a solid and hit that thumbs up button. And if you want to make sure you're going to see more dope knife and EDC content, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. I'll pop a couple of new videos up you haven't seen yet. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.